Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this 2,000 point Arks of Omen Grand Tournament game between the forces of the Imperial Knights and the Imperial Guard. For today's battle report, we're continuing our way through the Arks of Omen mission pack, so we are on mission 3-2 Death and Zeal. So that is this kind of corner deployment with the 9-inch bubble taken out of the center. 4 points for holding 1, holding 2, and holding more objectives than your opponent. We have equidistant objectives in each of the 4 table quarters, and then a 5th one in the center. We also have the objective purged, so sticky objectives, so as long as you hold an objective marker with objective secured in your command phase, that will be under your control until the enemy takes it away. We also have bonus primary for controlling every objective marker or one that you didn't control at the start of your turn, and killing one enemy unit that was within range of an objective marker. So 2 points if we can do one of those things, 3 points on the primary if we can do both. For the table today, continuing on with the Titans terrain board in a box. So all of the terrain that you see is going to count as 5 inches or taller ruins. So obscuring, breachable, scalable for the infantry, and hopefully tall enough to hide at least a couple of the smaller knights. Speaking of knights and infantry, let's take a look at the armies and the secondaries. For the forces of the Imperial Knights, we have our Arks of Omen detachment with heavy support, of course. For our oaths, we have taken my usual 2 of Defend the Realm and Lay Low the Tyrants. So I need to control more objective markers and kill a warlord character, vehicle, or monster with melee. For my warlord, it is going to be the Knight Paladin here at the forefront. So he has the battle cannon and the Reaper Chainsword. He also has the stubber in his carapace, and he's taken Sanctuary for our relic. So no need to rotate ion shields there. We also have a single big Knight Castellan over here with double cannons and a single pair of missiles on top. And then the rest of the forces are Armigers. So we have a single Armiger Warglaive over here, accompanying the biggest knight. We have a pair of Helverins here on the home field objective. One of them is probably going to stomp on forward to lend support, and one of them is going to probably stay back to make sure that we can stay on our objective. And then finally, we have a trio of Warglaives here. All the Warglaives are going to have the Meltas. All of the Helverins are going to have the Heavy Stubbers up top. No Warlord trait today, so I believe that is going to do it. We're starting on 5 CP for the Knights. And our secondaries that we took today are Bring It Down, Grind Them Down, and Yield No Ground. So, rhyming secondaries here. Bring It Down. The Guard has plenty of vehicles. Grind Them Down, hoping to kill more units than they kill of us. And Yield No Ground, we need to make sure that we are standing in the right place and keeping those objectives. So those are the Knights of House Cadmus. Let's take a look at the Guard. For the forces of the Imperial Guard, we have taken troops as our compulsory slot for the Arks of Omen detachment, and we have filled it up pretty well with 6 infantry squads. So, pretty jam-packed deployment zone, whereas the Knights are just a big footprint because they're so big. So with the Imperial Guard, our warlord for today is going to be a Cadian Castellan. She has Plasma Pistol and Power Sword in here. She is in a Chimera with one of 4 identical Cadian squads. Each of those 4 Cadian squads are going to have a Vox Caster and a Plasma Gunner. Each of them will also start the game in a Chimera. We also have a Tank Commander. He has the Warlord trait and the Relic for today, so he has Lead by Example, so he can give himself orders. and he has the relic battle cannon of Gatekeeper. For my other HQ slot, I have a Cadian command squad with a plasma gun, Master Vox, Metapack, and the Standard standing here on our home field objective. For other characters, even though they're not HQ slots, I have a single Tech Priest and a Commissar with Power Sword and Plasma Pistol. In the troop slots, like I said, I have 4 identical squads of Cadian Guardsmen with Vox and Plasma. Each of them are in a Chimera right now. We also have 2 infantry squads with a Vox Caster and a heavy weapon team with Missile Launcher. Both of those are going to stay on the home field objective. One of them will stay right on it, and then one of them will be backup in case a quarter or section of the battle needs it. For, let's see what comes next, elites, I also have a 5-man squad of Bullgrin. 3 of them have the 4-up invuln shields, and 2 of them have the 2-up armor shields. I also have a single heavy sentinel, or armored sentinel rather, with the missile chain sword, and then the multi-laser right on it. So what you see is what you get there. And then the rest of the slots are taken up in the heavy support. We have a Manticore sitting back here. We also have a Basilisk ready to unleash some long-range firepower and cover one of the No Man's Land objectives. And then a 2-tank squad of Leman Russ, one with a Vanquisher and Las Cannon, and then the second with the triple plasma sponsons and the plasma gun on the turret. That will do it for all of the slots. So on both sides we have a pair of Chimera. What you see is what you get. One of them has the double heavy bolter. Each of the rest of them has the Chimera multi-laser. They also have dozer blades and armored tracks. And that should do it for everything in the army. The secondaries are bring it down, obviously, when you go against knights. We also have inflexible command and engage on all fronts. So inflexible command is going to need us to stay in range of characters and commanders, but I think with all the Vox in the list, we should be able to do that. And we've also got engage on all fronts, hoping to get at least 3 of those quarters each turn. Engage, not 100% certain on, but it was the best of a couple of bad options. Not really good banners mission or retrieve battlefield data mission, since I have a feeling I'm not going to get into that quarter with all the knights. So those are the armies, and let's take a look at the roll-off. Both of these Imperial forces definitely want to go first so that they can bring their guns to bear and start getting some board control. So we'll have to see who gets the jump on who here. So the big brown dice is going to be the Knights, and then the green die will be the Guard. So that is going to be Imperial Knights at the start of the turn. So Imperial Knights, turn 1. Ready or not, here they come. Knights turn 1. We have moved on forward to claim the battlefield. So, going from right to left, this pair of Warglaives is moving around behind this building right here to, in turns 2 and 3, hold on to this No Man's Land objective, while in the middle, the Paladin and one of the 3 Warglaives have moved forward to take the center. This Warglaive with the red die on it has also got the Bondsman ability from the Paladin, who's going to get a reroll hit and a wound. Near the back, we just shuffled over with one of the Helverins to continue holding the home objective, while the second moved forward with the Castellan and the last Warglaive to claim this quarter of the battlefield. So, pretty quick movement phase, and we are going to get shooting. So we are actually going to get started with the big guns. So the Castellan is going to line up his shots first and foremost. Alrighty, starting off with the biggest guns from the Castellan. So it's Volcano Lance and the Plasma Decimator are going to go into the Lehman Russ Tank Commander over here. And then he is going to fire both of the cannons and a shield breaker missile at this closer Chimera over here. Idea is pop the Chimera here, and the Helverin can start taking away some of the infantry that were inside. So we're going to start off with the Volcano Lance. So D3 shots here, just the one shot. All right, hitting on a 4 because I spent 3 CP in total on the Tank Commander, 1 for smoke launchers and 2 for ablative plating. So hitting on a 4. I think that is where we're going to try to spend our free reroll thanks to our Oath. And that's a 2, so that will be a miss. Next up, we're going to go with the Plasma Decimator. We're not going to overcharge here. Yeah, we're not going to overcharge here. So 2d6 shots for 11 shots. So getting 5, 8, 11 shots on 4s. All right, actually no 3s there, but a couple 1s, so glad I did not overcharge. Then Strength 8, Toughness 8. Force to wound, only the 2. -4 will go to his 6-up saves. Nothing there. 2 damage a time will go to 1 damage a time, so that is only 2 damage going through from a Castellan to the Tank Commander. Then moving on to the Chimera, we're going to start off with the shots from the Siegebreaker cannons. So 4d3 shots here for 3, 6, 8, 10 shots. 3 and 5. No issues to hit here, so hitting on 3s. And then Strength 7, Toughness 7, so 4s to wound. Ooh, not great there. So 3 at -1 will take us to a 4-up save. Make 1, fail 2. That'll be 4 damage onto that Chimera. And then finally 1 shield breaker missile on a 3. That'll be a 6 to hit. And then Strength 10 on a 3 to wound. That will be a 1. Don't think this is the biggest issue if it doesn't go through, but thanks to my Oath, I do have plenty of CP. So I'll spend my CP here to reroll that wound. So needing a 3. And that'll go right on through thanks to -4 AP, d6 damage for another 5 damage. That is 9 damage in total to that Chimera and only 2 on the Tank Commander. Next up in the shooting phase, I'm going to go with this Warglaive in the center. He is going to shoot his big melta-gun, the Thermal Spear, into that 2-wound Chimera just to make sure that I can get it. And then his melta-gun on top is going to go into that Sentinel right there. I'm going to try to charge in and take him down with melee so that I can get another honor point. So 2 shots from the Thermal Spear into the Chimera on 3s. I'm going to use the reroll from my Bondsman ability here to get 2 hits. Strength 9, Toughness 7, 3s to wound, and then my not Bondsman ability, the Honor Code will allow me to reroll a wound. That will be 2 going straight on through, so let's just, for funsies, see how much damage that is. So that's 7, 9 damage right there. So we did as much damage as the Night Castellan did. So that will cause the Chimera to go down and not explode. Then his 1 multi-melta shot on top will be a hit and a wound. So multi-melta, or the melta-gun rather, will go right on through. And then for d6 damage, for 3, I might actually be within 6, so I'll measure that up. So that is a Chimera taken down and a Sentinel taken a chunk out of. That Chimera is gone, and 2 of the passengers did die in getting out. So we're going to go on to this Helverin next. So we are going to still be able to see the guardsmen that came out of there. So we're going to put everything that we've got into the guardsman squad. So 43 shots from the autocannons. 1, 2, 4, and 7 shots. On 3s. We'll re-roll a hit here. And then 2s to kill. We'll take another 4 of the infantry off the board. So just tally that up while I go there. And then this is Questoris Iron Hail Heavy Stubber, which I can never remember off the top of my head. Right. So 4 shots from the Heavy Stubber. Oof, missing twice there. And then 3s to wound. -1, 6-up save, will kill another. So that will be 5 of the guardsmen dead from that Helverin. This Warglaive is going to take a couple of shots into the Bullgrin here near the center, just trying to remove some threats so that my Paladin can continue to soften them up a bit. So 2 shots from the Thermal Spear into the Bullgrin. We'll reroll 1 of those for the Oath. Then Strength 9, Toughness 5, so 3 will be nothing there. So that is this flank and the Warglaive over here shot. These 2 Warglaives don't have anything in line of sight. So we will go to the Paladin next. The Paladin is going to fire. He'll do his Heavy Stubber into those 3 remaining guardsmen there, just to try to take that squad off the board, and then everything else is going to go into these Bullgrin. Starting off from the Paladin, the 2 Heavy Stubbers it comes equipped with are going to go into those 3 guardsmen on 3s, and then 3s to wound. 6-up saves. Alright, they tried, but that is going to be exactly enough there. It would be nice to try, but that will be the squad taken off the board from the Paladin. Then the rapid-fire battle cannon into the Bullgrin. A 1 and a 3, so 4 shots. I have used my CP reroll here. So I'll have to stay with 4 shots on 3s. All right, all 4 of those will hit at least. Then strength 8, T5, so 3s to wound. All of those will wound at -2. So -2 will take me up to 4-ups regardless. So 4-up saves. Make 2 fail to. 3 damage a time will kill 2 of the Bullgrin. Final shooting for turn 1 Knights. The second Helverin is going to go ahead and put everything it's got into the Bullgrin over here. So 4d3 shots with the autocannon. So 3, 6, 9, 11 shots. On 3s. Oof, wow, that is pitiful hit rolls there. So we will convert one of those misses into a hit at least. And strength 7, so wounding on 3s. 3 at 4-up saves. We'll make one fail 2, and that will be 3 damage a time. So that'll be 2 more of the Bullgrin taken off the board. The only charge for the Knights was this Warglaive going into the Armored Sentinel. So we just barely made it with a 5, and we have piled in. We're going to go with the strike attacks from the Chain Cleaver into the Armored Sentinel. This is going to be 4 attacks hitting on 3s. And we'll let that go through as a miss. Then strength 10 into toughness 6, so 3s to wound. And we'll use our reroll here to make 2 of those go through to wound. Minus 4 AP will go right through. 3 damage a time will be the Sentinel gone. Does he explode on a 6? He does not, but that will be another tally for grind them down. And a vehicle killed in close combat. So that will get us an honor point for the Knights. And he will just pile on in right there. At the end of turn 1, here's how we're looking for the Knights. So we killed 3 units for grind them down. The lone Bullgrin was able to pass his morale check, so he did not fail leadership there. We scored a total of 3 points on Bring It Down, thanks to the Chimera and the Sentinel going down. Only 2 yield no ground, since I did technically end closer to my battlefield edge with these 2 Warglaives, but I think having them hide behind a building and probably not get shot off the table is worth losing a single point. So we scored up a total of 5 on secondaries. And then let me see for the bonus. I will also score 2 points for the bonus on the primary. So that will bring us up to 7-0 as we go into Imperial Guard turn 1. Turn 1 with the Astra Militarum, we have moved forward and given out our orders. So in the command phase, we issued Take Aim on to the 2 infantry squads here at the back home field objective. We also issued Gunner's Kill on Sight to the tank commander and the Vanquisher, Lehman Russ. The Engine Seer healed up a wound on the tank commander and gave him a 5-up Feel No Pain, so hopefully he'll be a little bit more survivable. And we've also moved on out. A little bit slowed on this front, only 1 Chimera over here with an infantry squad, and the Commissar and the Lone Bullgrin are running to stay caught up. So definitely not on a ton of objectives, but we are hoping to start taking down some of the Knights and then make up for the lackluster start in turns 2 and 3. So we're done with movement and command phase. No psychic in this army, so we are going to get right on to the shooting. I'm going to start off with all of the small arms fire, so I'm going to just summarize what I'm going to shoot at and then come back to you with the results. So the 2 infantry squads, the command squad, and the Commissar are all going to go ahead and try to take down this Warglaive. So idea is leave the big guns for the bigger Knights and then use as many of the small guns that are in range so that I can get this guy taken down. After all said and done, the 2 infantry squads, the Commissar and the command squad, were able to take this Warglaive down to 4 wounds. 1 CP was spent to turn a 1 into a 3 on damage roll for the missile launchers. So missile launchers did do 5 out of the 8 damage that went into the Warglaive, as might be expected. So that is going to resolve those hits for the infantry. Next up, we're going to move on to some of the bigger targets, or bigger guns rather. So what we are going to get started on is we are going to go with the... we're going to start off with Manticore. Manticore is going to launch one of their missiles into the Paladin, and the Heavy Bolter is also going to go into the Paladin. No need to rotate ion shields here. So since we did take the 4-up invuln relic or warlord trait, I can't remember which is which. One gives you the 4-up invuln and one gives you a 5-up in melee. I did spend the 1 CP on the one to give me the 4-up for shooting. So that is going to be 3 shots from the Heavy Bolter and 2d6 from the missile. So starting off with the rocket, d6 plus 3. That'll be the big 9 damage. So 3, 6, and 9 shots here. On 4s. And I am born soldiers here. So that was a 4. That 6 will go right on through. Then strength 9, winning on 3s. Ooh, just the 2 against his 4-ups. Make 1, fail 1 for 3 damage going through from the rocket into the Paladin. And then the Heavy Bolter in the hull. Nothing there. So only 3 damage, but 3 damage on 1 big knight will start us chipping away at him. I'm also going to go with the Basilisk into the Paladin with the Earthshaker cannon. Unfortunately, the Heavy Bolter in the hull can't see anything. So we are just going to do the Earthshaker, so d6 plus 3. Only the 4 shots here on 4s. 2 hits, and then 3s to wound. Just the 1 wound at a 4-up invuln. Will not make it, so that'll be another 2 damage onto the Paladin. So slowly but surely starting to strip some wounds away from him. Just trying to compartmentalize and see what I need to allocate into each of the assets I'm trying to bring down. I'm actually going to have this Chimera shoot back into this Warglaive with everything that it's got. Probably not going to be able to do it, but if I can get him taken down pretty close, I can see if I need to allocate anything like the tank commander into him, or if he will be resolved. So everything from that Chimera on this flank into the Warglaive. And after everything, we are left on 1 wound and 1 save left for the lasgun arrays. So the multi-laser and Chimera Heavy Bolter did do their work. So 1 chance to save from the lasgun array, and he will save. So that Chimera has taken him down to a single wound remaining. Not great, but definitely could be worse. So what we are going to go and do is we're going to take a look at all these vehicles in the middle and see what we can start taking out. Taking a look at my line of sights, it is just this tank commander that has line of sight on the Warglaive. So after hemming and hawing a little bit, I've decided the las cannon is going to go into the Warglaive and Gatekeeper is going to go into the Paladin. Just to see if I can get those bring it down points. So this will be the las cannon, which will go right through to a wound, since I'm using born soldiers for my regimental tactics. So this is a 5-up or die for the Warglaive. And that is not going to do it. Plenty of CP, but I think I'm better off saving the reroll for the save for one of my big knights, or the big knight that's getting shot, rather. So that is going to be the Warglaive gone, and he does not explode. So that'll get us on the board with 2 points for bring it down. Now we are going to go with Gatekeeper, so D3 plus 6 shots. So 7 total shots with Gatekeeper. And this will be on 3s, rerolling my 1s. Oh, wow. So that'll be 2 misses. 4 of them go right through to wound, thanks to being born soldiers. 1 of them will not wound, so those 4 6s will go right on through to wound against the 4-up invuln save of the Knight. And wow, that is not great right there. So that is 3 damage a time, so that's 12 wounds off of his current 19. Yikes. Just trying to think of what else is likely to go through. I think I'm going to use my CP reroll here, because the Vanquisher, I can't use the invuln anyway. And that still doesn't do it, so that is a CP spent and 12 wounds taken off of the Paladin. Yikes. Next up, we're going to continue going a Knight killing. We're going to go with the quad Plasma Leman Russ. Everything's going to go into the Paladin, and everything is also going to overcharge. So we are going to do the Plasma turret first. So this will be D6 plus 3 shots. So 8 shots right there. So only 1 less than the Vanquisher, or not Vanquisher, the Gatekeeper got. So this will be on 3s, not re-rolling my 1s because Gunner's Kill on Sight went to the Vanquisher. So a couple of wounds going through to me. 1 will miss and 1 will go right on through to wound. Strength 8, Toughness 8 on 4s to wound. Oof. Alright, so I missed 3 of those. 2 of them will go on to the 4th invuln and make both of those. So that'll balance out a bit. And then we go on to the turret plasma. Number of shots for the plasma cannon, turret, and sponson ended up being 6. So this will be 6 shots overcharged. So these will all be on 4s. Alright, so another wound taken to me. Then 2 of them will go through on 4s. And then 2 wounds on the 4-up invuln. Make 1, fail 1. That'll be another 2 damage taken. So that'll bring him down to 5. So, forgot to check down my wounds there. So the Chimeras will go next. Just, again, getting greedy, probably greedier than I should be. I'm going to go, both Chimeras are going to go into the Paladin. My thinking is, if I can somehow kill the Paladin with these 2 Chimeras, the Vanquisher can just barely see the base of this Warglaive over here. So that is my chance to negate, grind them down for the Knights. If I can somehow get the Paladin down with Chimeras, and then basically one-shot a Warglaive with a Vanquisher. So I'm going to do all the shots from these 2 Chimera off camera, and then come back to you with the results. And someone called the Sisters of Battle, because there has been a miracle on this field today. The Paladin is taken down through 3 heavy bolter shots, going through after a multi-laser continued to chip him down. So he didn't even need to get to the lasgun arrays to bring him down. However, the Paladin's not going to go out quietly. Noble Sacrifice for 2 CP will give us a 4 and a 9-inch explosion. So everything within 9 inches is going to take some damage. This is going to hurt. And after that, the Paladin did not go quietly with its 9-inch explosion. Took 4 wounds off of this Chimera up front, 5 wounds off of the Chimera holding the Warlord Castellan, and a full 6 off of the Plasma Leman Russ, bringing him down to only 3 wounds remaining. So definitely a good chunk left or out of each of these vehicles, but while they're still on the table, they are still here to help. And that is going to do it for shooting, save the big gun of the Vanquisher. So the Vanquisher can again just barely see this one Warglaive. So everything that he's got is going to go into the Warglaive. So we are going to start off with the Vanquisher, hitting on a 3, rerolling our 1, so anything but a 2. All right, so that'll be a hit. Strength 14 will wound on a 2. And that's a 1 right there, ladies and gentlemen. So, no one-shot wonder here, because I did use the reroll on... What did I use the reroll on? You know, nope, I remember. It was damage for the missile launcher, so no luck there. But will the las cannon be of any help? It will not. So, swings and roundabouts, I guess we can't complain about taking 2 enemy knights off of the battlefield. So that is going to do it for the turn. So I will score up my primaries and the bonus, and then get back to you with an end of turn wrap up. So at the end of turn 1, we score it up for 14 for the guard. So we got a big 6 on Bring It Down, a full 5 for Inflexible Command. Nothing on Engage on All Fronts quite yet, but we did also get the full 3 bonus for the primary. So definitely looking like we are in a strong position for the guard, taking out 2 knights in one turn, including one of the 2 big knights. But there are still plenty of completely untouched armigers running around, so we are going to have to see what we can do in Knights turn 2. Turn 2 for the Imperial Knights. We did score 3 points for Grind Them Down and 8 points on the primary, so we are now on 18, so back in the lead as opposed or compared to the Guard. So what the plan is going to be today, or in this turn rather, is just going to be try to claim the 3 corner objectives, leave the middle alone for right now, and kill as many vehicles as we can. So particularly trying to focus down this flank of the battlefield to take at least 2 of the Leman Russ off the battlefield. So can hopefully try to take the plasma one off the board in shooting, and then take the Vanquisher off in melee, or at least tie it up. 1 Helverin stood on our backfield objective. Meanwhile, the Castellan, the Lone Warglaive, and the Helverin are pushing this flank to try to kill as many of the guard vehicles and infantry as possible. So I'm thinking with this 1 Helverin over here, I should hopefully be able to take down this Bulgrin and the Commissar, get me an easy score for grinding them down this turn. But with that, we are on 7 CP, so we're flush with CP, but starting to already run out of Knights Suspended on. So now we're going to go into shooting. In the shooting phase, the first thing that is going to fire is this front Warglaive. Everything that he's got is going to go into the Plasma Leman Russ. With the guard only on 3 CP right now, not much point in doing smokescreen or -1 damage there. I'll just let that through, probably have to let this Leman Russ die. So 2 shots from the big melta-gun, 1 hit, 1 wound. We'll re-roll that wound here, or that hit here rather. And then on a 3 to wound, we'll go right on through. Does it go right on through? -4 and a 2-up save. 6 up armor, not quite there. So D6 plus 2, can't fail, but that's going to be 4 damage on this Leman Russ. Does he blow? He does. Alrighty, so that'll be some wounds to the knights and to the tanks over here. After the explosion, here's what we look like. A couple of wounds off of all the vehicles over here. Nothing horrific. However, the second Warglaive is going to go and shoot everything that he's got into this Chimera, 1 CP is going to be spent right here on smoke launchers, just to try to make it a little bit harder to hit. So 4s, not 3s. Alright, so those 5s will unfortunately both do it. And then 3s to wound. Oof, so we will get to reroll one of those for the Oath. -4 will not do it, so this is going to be d6 plus 2 damage. 4 plus 2, 6 damage on that Chimera. So through the smoke, he is lanced, and does he explode? He does not explode there, so that is another vehicle taken down. 3 of the Cadians from the squad perished as they were exiting the Chimera. However, if this Helverin over here has anything to say about it, they will not be the only ones to perish. So everything from that Helverin is going to go in and try to take out the squad. Again, just try to whittle down and kill as many as I can. So 43 shots from the Armiger, so that's 2, 5, 8 shots on 3s. We'll use our reroll here, and then 2s to kill. That'll be another 5 of them taken down. Then on the stubber on top, on 3s. 3s to wound. And then 6s to save. I'll save 1, but that'll be the squad taken off the board from the Helverin. Moving on to the other Helverin, we are going to put everything that he's got into those 2 lone models. So the autocannons are going to go into the Bulgrin, and the stubber on top is going to go into the Commissar. So 4d3 shots into the lone Bulgrin will be 3, 6, 8, 10 shots into the lone model on 3s. Ooh, not great hitting there. And then 3s to wound. Alright. Then he has one of the 4-up invuln shields. So 4-ups. It's a good attempt. It's a really good attempt. But 2 of them go through. 3 damage a time will kill him, even if I re-roll. That'll be 1 more tally on grind them down, bringing me up to 4 already. And then the 4 stubber shots into the Commissar. Still haven't used my reroll, wounding on 3s, and that's where we'll use it. So 4 wounds on the Commissar. 4 wounds taken. Next up is going to be the final Warglaive. He's going to put all of his Melta shots into this Chimera right in front of him. So the Melta Spear first on 3s, and then wounding on 3s. We'll go right through. That'll be 2d6 plus 4 damage on the Chimera for a total of 6. 11 wounds onto the Chimera, which I believe is exactly what they have. Yep, 11 wounds. So, does it explode? It does explode, and then I will see who gets out. And after that, we did do 1 damage to the Warglaive, but 2 of the infantrymen died getting out of the Chimera. So we are quickly losing assets. So that is a tally of 6 right now for grind them down. So I don't think there's enough. Yeah, so unless I table the knights in Astra Militarum turn 2, which I have a feeling I'm not going to, that is 3 points on grind them down right there. And I haven't even fired with the Castellan. So just to save myself some time, I'm going to say that everything from the Castellan is going to go into this infantry squad, and I think it's safe to assume that they will not be here when I get to the charge phase. Yep, unsurprisingly, that will do it for the squad. Only had to do the plasma decimator, didn't even roll any of the other shots. So that is a total of 7 on Grind Them Down. In the charge phase, this Warglaive has charged into the infantry squad to try to start cutting them down. And the Vanquisher is now in melee with this Warglaive. So, pretty quick fight phase, nothing else to declare there. Feel like with Knights, there's so many different things to spend your CP on, but you don't want to spend any of them, or at least I don't care to flip through the book for 5 minutes looking for something that'll help when I think I have this in hand. So Warglaive is going to do its strike attacks against the Vanquisher. 4 attacks on 3s. We'll spend a Oath reroll here. Nothing there. Strength 10, wounding on 3s. Just the 1 wound, actually. For a 6-up save. No luck there. So that will be a Lehman Russ living there. And then we'll do the sweep attacks from the other Knight real quick. 8 attacks on 3s. Spend an Oath reroll there. Only 4 hits, and then strength 6, so 2s to kill. That will be 3 more down. So, going through the rest of the fight phase, the infantry and the tank did nothing to the knights. The infantry failed their morale, and there's only 1 left, so I left the locksman in that squad alive just in case he can maybe scuttle his way and count as being in range for inflexible command. As for scoring for the knights, scored a whole bunch right there. So scored 4 points on Bring It Down, 3 points on Grind, which I know technically I'm not supposed to do until the end of the battle round, but I have a tally of 7, and there literally isn't enough units in the Knight army to kill to get that. And I also scored 3 points on Grind Them Down and the mission bonus. So that is going to go all the way up to 31 for the Knights as we go into turn 2 for the Guard. And we see how well they can retaliate. Turn 2 with the Guard, and the name of the game this turn is Kill Armigers. So we are setting ourselves up so that we can hopefully kill, or well, hopefully both, at least one of these Warglaives over here, and then either of these Warglaives that are kind of buffering this building on my flank. I think the Helbrin on the Knight's home field and the Castellan are going to have to be safe for this turn, just so that we can concentrate fire. I did forget to move this Chimera, so I think I'll move this, just start moving it a little bit closer towards the center, so that I can maybe in one turn or another get engaged. But other than that, we have just moved forward. We poured out of the last Chimera with, I think, the last Cadian squad. And everybody stood still here. The one lone Voxman is moving deeper into enemy territory, maybe just to try to get engaged or score a point over here, figuring that there's, bigger and badder things for Knights to deal with, and hopefully there will be less Knights to deal with stuff soon. For orders, this squad got take aim, so they're going to hopefully try to help bring down one of these 2 Armigers, and then the tank commander and the Vanquisher both got Gunner's kill on sight, so that the Vanquisher can hopefully, kill the one right in front of him. We're not going to waste any time. We're just going to go straight to the Vanquisher, and he is going to pour everything into the Warglaive that is right in front of him. So with the Vanquisher cannon, he is going to get a hit. And then I just need to see a 2 on this. All right. So that will be a hit and a wound. So no invuln and D3 mortals. That'll be D3 plus 6 regular damage. 7 damage plus D3. I'm going to use my CP reroll here, so I kind of need this guy to go down. Alright, so that is going to be 1 CP spent, bringing the guard down to 2. 7 damage, and then D3 mortals. Alright, then that will be the 10 damage I need to take him down. So that'll be some points on Bring It Down. No explosion there. So that will get us off to a good start for the turn. So now 1 Warglaive in this corner is down. We're going to try to move on to the next one. We're going to go to the tank commander. He is going to fire everything he's got into the Warglaive. Starting off with the Gatekeeper, so D3 plus 6, so maximum 9 shots here. And then 3s, re-rolling my 1s, and 6s will automatically go through to wound. Ooh. So that is not a lot. So no 1s to re-roll, I guess, but no 6s either. And strength 9, so 3s to wound. Yeah, all right, 3 of them at minus 3 AP. I'm not going to rotate my on shields here, so 5 ups. Oof, would have saved me a little bit of pain, but that is going to be 9 damage on him. 2 wounds left. Then finally, the las cannon misses on a 2. Yikes. So, last on this flank is going to be this infantry squad and the Cadian Castellan. Everything from them and this wounded Chimera is going to be poured into this Warglaive to try to bring it down and secure me this flank and this objective. Alright, over on this flank, I did overcharge the plasma gun, so he did kill himself, but he also did the 2 wounds to the Warglaive over here. That is going to secure this flank pretty handily for the rest of the game for the Cadians. That allowed me to do some pot shots with this Chimera. I did take a single heavy bolter shot to go through for the Halverin to take him down 2 wounds. So we are halfway done with kind of the flanks. So now I have this squad of infantry and the 2 indirect fires. So what I'm going to do is the infantry as well as the command squad are both going to try to go into this Halverin. And then I will do the long-range guns depending on who is still standing and how well I do taking the Halverin down. So, the infantry and the Cadian command squad did not do anything to the Halverin. I did choose to rotate ion shields on him. So that is going to kind of make the guard's decision. So the Basilisk and the Manticore are both going to fire everything that they've got into this Warglaive. Try to take 1 more of the knights down and to make sure that we can have 1 less thing to worry about and maybe even keep the Manticore and Basilisk alive just a little bit longer. Starting off with the Manticore, since you can see the Warglaive, I did do the Heavy Bolter. That got through for 2 damage into the Warglaive. And now we'll do his 2nd missile, shooting through for D6 plus 3 shots. So that'll be 2 5 shots right there. And then 4s. Alright, 4 hits, and then strength 9 will wound on 3s. Taking us to our 5-up invuln. I could, if I fail all 3s, 3 die. I do not. I do fail 2 of them, so that'll be 6 damage going through, bringing this Warglaive down to 3. Then the final shots will be from the Basilisk. Basilisk will also go into this Warglaive, even though he will get the benefits of being shot indirectly. After all was said and done, we have 2 wounds going through from the Earthshaker cannon from the Basilisk. Set 2 5-up saves. Make 1, fail 1. I'll bring him down to a single wound remaining. And that'll do it for the turn, so I will score up points and then summarize before we move on to round 3. With that, we're at the end of turn 2 guard. We did bring ourselves up to 10 points on Bring It Down and 10 points on Inflexible Command. So we are going to be at a total of 30 as we go into round 3. So definitely sucker punch after sucker punch, heavy hit after heavy hit on both sides. Both of us are definitely losing assets quicker than we would like, but I think either side could pull out ahead of this. So I think it's just how many vehicles can the knights kill, and can we kill 1 or 2 more knights before they start wrapping around us. So that's going to take us into round 3 with a 1-point lead for the knights as we go into their turn. Turn 3 with the Imperial Knights. We're moving forward and we are going to see if we can try to put the hurt onto the Imperial Guard to the point where they are not going to be able to recover and I can run away with this game. The board control is still definitely in favor of the knights, but we'll see what we can do. So basically just all the knights move forward, advancing towards the home field objective. So I'm thinking if I can get a lot of the vehicles and infantry down, that'll limit their mobility or their ability to actually do anything. And then I can just coast on having these objectives in this side of the table be sticky, with nothing left to run over and go grab them. So nothing done in the command phase, no bondsman abilities left since I lost the paladin turn 1. So we are good to get going right into shooting. We're going to get started with this Armiger Helverin right here near the middle. And again, my goal is just to kill as many of the assets as possible. So I'm actually going to go and try to take this infantry squad out of the fight. That way, it's just basically Chimera and Leman Russ. And they're not going to be good at holding these objectives. So number of shots, 3, 6, 8, 9 shots with my main Armiger cannons. Will be on 3s. Oof, not great there. Then we will kill on 2s. That will be 5 of the guardsmen dead right there. And then the stubber on top. We'll use our honor reroll or our oath reroll. Then 6s. Alright, save 1, but that will be 8 of the guardsmen taken out from that Helverin. Next up, I'm going to do the same thing with this Helverin, except I am going to go ahead and go into this infantry squad in the ruins. So 43 shots from the Armiger cannons. Will be only 6 shots that time. And then on 3s, it should still be, yeah, it will still be 2 to kill, so I'll use a reroll to hit. And then 2s to kill. Alright, that'll be 4 dead guardsmen there. And then from the stubber, just the 1 on a 3. And then a 5-up save will make it. So only 4 guardsmen taken out from that Helverin. Then we'll do the 2 melta shots, or the 3 melta shots rather, from the Helverin into the Manticore. So the Melted Lance will miss, and then the Melted Gun on top will also miss. I'll use a reroll on the Melted Gun since I didn't declare it before, but I'll do it. So those are the 3 remaining Helverins. Then finally, or the Armigers rather, so I will take a look at who is in range and line of sight of the Castellan, and then take him off. I didn't move the Castellan, mainly because I didn't want to put myself in line of sight and range of the 2 remaining Leman Russes. So unfortunately, no real high value targets left to shoot at here. What I am going to try to do is I'm going to try to split fire here. So the Volcano Lance and the Plasma are going to go here into the infantry squad, and then everything else is going to go into the command squad. So not the most high value targets and probably not the best, most efficient use of a Castellan, but you got to do what you got to do to try to get points and take off assets. After all that, the Castellan was able to kill the infantry squad off. The command squad was able to hang on, so we have the medic and the officer there. So I might be able to revive 1 or 2 of them in my next turn. That'll do it for the shooting phase. For the fight phase, what we're going to do is the Warglaive is going to try to go into the Manticore. And then, while it's probably not going to be the best use of him, the Helverin is going to charge into the remnants of this command squad. Then, meanwhile, this Helverin is just going to stay out in the middle, probably either act as a bait for the tanks to shoot at something a little bit less valuable, or be unperturbed and get to stay on an objective in the next turn. The Warglaive was able to get in after a CP reroll to reroll a 3 into an 11. The Helverin also rolled a 3, so I don't know why the Knights are feeling a little sluggish on their chargers, but we are going to try to chop up the Manticore a little bit here. So 4 attacks on 5s. 1 will go through to wound on a 3, and nothing there. So that's going to do it for the fights there. Anything from the Manticore. 2 hits. Yeah, and then, what is it? Strength. So probably wounding on 5s. Nothing there. That'll do it for the turn for the Knights. So, kind of a low-scoring turn for the Knights. Only got 3 more points on Yield No Ground. Actually, forgot to do the morale. So let's see the morale for the infantry squad. He's going to run, so that'll be 1 done there. And then we lost 3 in the command squad. 9. I can't imagine that they're still there. And then that will be the infantry, or the command squad, gone as well. So that'll be a total of 3 on Grind Them Down, thanks to morale failing. So probably enough to score the points right there, but we won't call it right there. So that brings the Knights up to 41 as we go into Imperial Guard, turn 3. Guard, turn 3. We were able to score 8 points on the primaries thanks to holding 2 objectives. So we have moved on out. We're running real low on assets here on both sides. So we will have to see what we can do with what we've got left. So in summary, the tank commander has given himself and the Vanquisher Gunner's kill on sight in order to kill this Helverin. This Chimera's moved on forward to the middle. The Manticore fell back to kill so that I can shoot the Basilisk at the 1 wound Warglaive. Then that second Helverin and the Castellan are going to have to be a later turn problem, while the Lone Guardsman has continued to run and is actually going to start scoring me engaged in all fronts points at this turn. So with that, we are going to get right into shooting. I'm going to start with the Vanquisher and the Tank Commander into this Helverin. We're going to start off with the Vanquisher first. That way, in case the Vanquisher gets it done in one go, the Tank Commander can also help deal with that Warglaive, and maybe the Basilisk can start helping us out with the other Helverin. So, Vanquisher cannon first. So, hitting on a 3, reroll 1s. Alright, so we hit. And then strength 14 will be a successful wound. So that'll be D3 plus 6 plus D3 mortal wounds. So hoping for a big shot. 1 damage, so that's D3 plus 6. So that'll be 7 damage, and then D3 mortal wounds. Yep. And that is a 3. So a total of 10 damage onto the Armiger, leaving it on 2. Then we'll see if the las cannon can finish it off. Not on a 2. We're going to spend a CP to try to hit that. And we get another 2. So that'll be the Helverin left on 2 wounds. Turns out it needs not be the Leman Russ that you worry about, but the Chimera. This 5-wound Chimera went ahead and finished off the Helverin, doing a total of 3 wounds with its multi-laser and heavy bolter. So that is going to help continue to clear out the board for us. Now we're going to move on to the Leman Russ Tank Commander. Tank Commander is going to go with Gatekeeper for... Let's see, is it D3 plus 6 or D6 plus 3? It's D3 plus 6. That's going to be 3, 5, 7 shots on 3s. Rerolling my 1s. So 2 will go right on through to wound. And then that'll be 5 at our 5-up armor save. Ooh, good point there. I did spend rotate on the Helverin that just died, so unfortunately I do have a 5-up and not a 4-up invuln save. That will unfortunately be the Armiger lost. No sense in doing the sacrifice strat, so that'll be another 1 down. I'll bring us up to near max for Bring It Down. Last thing to do was the Basilisk shooting. Took care of that off camera. Took 2 wounds off of this Helverin, but didn't accomplish anything else. So with that, we are good to wrap up turn 3 for the Guard. We got 14 out of our 15 points on Bring It Down. We're not going to score anything on Inflexible Command, since we are spread very, very thin. However, with this 1 guardsman over in this table quarter, we are going to get 2 points on Engage in All Fronts. And we only have 2 knights left. However, that possibly could be enough to help take some of the guard off of the table. So we will have to see what we can do in Knight's turn 4. Turn 4 with the Imperial Knights. Very quick movement phase with only 2 models to move. So this will be a summary turn. So we moved the Helverin up here. He's going to try to take away this objective in the deployment zone of the Guard. The Castellan also has moved up. He is going to help try to kill the Manticore and this Chimera. He's also going to spend a little bit of his firepower to get this 1 guardsman off the table. That way he can't try to steal this objective or get any more points on Engage in All Fronts. So, a lot of split firing from the Castellan, but I think he should be able to do it, and we will see what turns out at the end of the turn. So, we are here at the end of Knight's turn 4. We were able to kill the Manticore. We were able to kill this Chimera, which did explode and dealt 1 damage to the Vanquisher. And pretty obviously this one guardsman crumpled pretty easily next to Castellan. So that is going to bring the knights up to a total of 59 points. So not a lot left on either side. So we will see what the Acadians or the infantry can do in their turn 4. So I will come back to you with a turn 4 summary for the Guard. Here we are in Guard turn 4, and I don't know which side is going to peter out first, so still kind of looking like either side might be able to win it. I'm not entirely sure. So what we did is Basilisk moved on around, tried to kill this Helverin on its own. Did a pretty good job, but it's still standing with 3 wounds left. Then the 2 tanks in the middle have moved up. Only managed to take 10 wounds off the Castellan, so probably not enough to make a big dent. So 2 points on primary, nothing on bring it down, inflexible command, or engage that turn. So that is 50 points to the Guard, to the Knights 59, as we go into the last battle round. So I'm going to play out the last battle round off camera and then come back to you with an end of game summary. So at the end of the game, here's what the board looks like. We've got the Castellan, we have the full wound, tank commander, we have the engine seer, and we have the Acadian Castellan, and that is it. So the tanks were able to kill off the last Helverin. However, the Castellan was able to pick off the Basilisk and the Vanquisher tank, basically force them into that corner. So even though they have triple the models, it is going to be a victory for the Imperial Knights. They managed to max out, bring it down, or actually both sides managed to max out, bring it down, but Grind and the Knight Specific secondary that I took were both way better scoring for the Knights, and they also just got the board presence early, kind of bullied off of basically every objective on the board at some point over the game. So the final score is going to be 55 for the Guard to 81 for the Imperial Knights. So pretty close to a full score game for the Knights there. Hope everybody enjoyed that battle report. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel if you like what I'm doing here. Leave a comment, leave a like, helps my videos go out to more people. And then I'll see all you folks on the next battlefield of the 41st millennium. Bye-bye.